Oh, well. That's a good intro. Okay. This game's called Basements, but it's like, what the fuck? Like a torso. Huh. Do I want to go in here? Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Jesus. Hands and knees breathing. Like the way it peels, like blistering skin. Not like, really. That's what it is. So much heart in that paint, and it kept the walls so fine and smooth for so long. Fine and smooth was not what they were meant to be. The heat has things to say about that. Gnawing, crawling, curling, blackening things. God, why does Kitty Horror Show fucking hate houses so much? Actually, I could think of a few reasons why. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Every hallway is a gamble in the castle's sliding down towards the ground like sand, and you're not at your best right now, with that nightgown bunching up around your knees, catching you and tripping you because it's furious that you'd leave so many of its kin behind. It doesn't want you leaving. I hate these fucking spikes shooting out of the ceiling. Some get trapped inside. Some run out and watch. Some gather around to stare and see what happens. Some like the warmth. Some wake up too late to get out. Some suck down smoke and drop. Some sort through the ash later on. Fingers black and gray. Ash and rain and damage. I feel like I should be taking a little more urgency in my steps. Oh, fuck me. Has opening doors ever hurt so much? They bite the hand now, glowing and livid, and who knows what's behind them. It won't be what you're expecting, or at least it'll look very different. The place doesn't feel quite the same from down there, does it? Making it pretty hard to find your way. You don't want to go into that room. The ashes are gathering there, holding court, making decisions about what to do with all those photographs of you. The ones of summer, and those friends you don't see anymore. The pool and the sunset and that night you snuck into the mall. You're just going to have to give those up, I think. Jesus. Fires do... yeah. The heat warps everything. Makes it bend and curl and dance, and the grandfather clock makes a different sound now, and the beds are all blazing. Even fire needs to sleep sometime, and it can still kill even while it does. Ever see anything that violent before? Can't think of a whole lot, no. Down there is good for you. Better for breathing, even if the floor is hotter than you'd like it to be. The shouting isn't down there, never was, and you can comb your fingers through the carpet and it'll teach you old songs of pollen and hair and dust and footsteps and mud. Better say your goodbyes now. Oh, that's not the end. There's 3 of these fucking things. There's 3 houses. What are you? God, fuck me. She clamps a hand down on the bleeding wound in her side, feeling remotely that it is not her hand, but the hand of the machine which she pilots, and that she is a small, vulnerable presence within the machine's skull. The machine rises to its feet over many long, laborious movements. After many long, labored breaths, and begins walking forward, its legs expanding and contracting. Flash fire signals of electricity thrown down from her throne into the skull to tell the knees when to bend and when to open, but the machine is not operating at full capacity. It is dragging itself forward, crippled and broken. It has no destination, and so it has no reason to operate at full speed. She could approach one of those dark houses, pound on its walls, and kick through with her giant mechanical strength. But there is some part of her that knows to do so would only mean a slow, ignominious death on the couch of some reticent stranger. She could keep walking up the street, but she doesn't know what lays around the curve, what new landscape of shadow-dashing knife-throwers she might find beyond the nearest fire hydrant, or streetlight, or corner house, or cul-de-sac. She looks back, or rather, turns the head of her machine to look back, in search of the knife she plucked from her side and threw away. Already it is gone, dissolved into a smoke serpent impression to the sidewalk behind her, and thus it has betrayed her. It sank into her flesh and tasted her blood. One would think at the very least it would grant her a favor in return. The machine opens its mouth to the sky and emits a grating, rusted sound, a howling of metal, a laugh and a scream. Then it lets its hand down from its wound, and the blood that pours out is not red, but black and thick like mud, and the operator in the machine's head takes her hand from the controls, because control is futile now, and the machine is not a vehicle now. It is a prison within a person, its own entity, its own creature locked inside a maze that it is powerless to negotiate. And she can neither help it nor be helped by it. The howl it lets out bangs against the sky, echoing back at her, shaking the motionless trees, and grating against the skin of her spine until the follicles of her hair stand erect, and she clamps her hands down to her ears and lets out a scream of her own. "Stop," she screams. "Stop," she screams again. Because the first scream was not enough. "Stop." Oh god. There's one more, methinks. Oh god, I really don't. Here we go. Rolled around, clutching. Oh, what the fuck? Stuck in a cage. It was cold in the mud there, behind the tall building. Jesus, the mud was different too. It moved, trying to hold me. I couldn't see my leg where you'd snapped it, but I could feel it dragging behind me by a tendon. I remember struggling to breathe. I can't read that, and thinking, don't let it get me. I don't want it to get me. I don't know what I thought it was, only that there was something in that tall building or in the mud beneath me. Something had lapped at my fur and whispered to me. I didn't want to be part of it, but I lost so much blood and I was so tired. Breathing was so hard, and I could feel fluid in my lungs, bubbling each time I panted. The mud was cool, and it promises to be gentle. I guess I must have let it take me down. I remember watching it cover my eyes. And when I went down far enough, I didn't feel mud anymore. It felt like warm water and worms and roots coiling like rope and slipping down my thighs and waist and throat. The tendons snapped and the roots pulled at my leg anyway. I thought, am I being eaten? What is eating me? But it didn't want to eat me. It wanted to claim me. Hold me close and make me part of it. I never saw its face or learned its name, but it was large. And it's a thing that waits under the mud to taste the blood of dying animals and seek them out and carry them here. It's the shadow of the tall building, to the shadow of the tall building. But on the other side of the road, it must have brought you here too. You must have bled out on the mud somewhere. Funny though, it didn't put me in a cage. But then I never snapped anyone's leg and left it there to die. If flies get to be called flies, snakes should be called slithers. Pale green light blue is so nice to me. Hope they have a really good day today. Let's go this way. Yeah, this is a little more approachable than the... I should take a bath tonight, that would be nice. What do all these keys do? Oh. Name Siconius. Class Wax Burner. Angst 81. Gloom Oppressive. Piety 11. Woe 925. Vomit Infinite. SS Surface Stats. What the fuck is Castle Pithy? Can I have these all up at once? Yeah. Okay. Guess it's time to make my rounds, isn't it? Let's take a little stop at the church. This is such a nice refreshment already from house fires. Hello? I'm the gravekeeper. I creep these graves. Understand? They're mine, the graves. You can't have them. I keep them. They're mine. I don't try to take your little waxy light sticks from you, do I? Buzz off, dingus. Stay away from my graves. Okay, well that's a little rude. Oh, you can read them? Here lieth brother Horoscu, who did set himself ablaze. Some kind of sex thing, probs. Here lieth a real piece of shit. Just ye worst asshole. Verily, I hated him. Here lieth Sister Verilana, dead of poisonous potions. She couldn't get enough of the stuff until she actually did. Here lieth Brother Monteo, haunted savagely by ghosts. To be fair, there were people he'd killed. Karma sucks, huh, Monteo? Here lieth Sister Hazessa, stingeth to death by wasps. Stungeth? Whatever. Here lieth friend Cabera, not dead, just sleeping. They enjoyeth being buried, which is like, right on, you do you. Here lieth Brother Constanto, talked shit, got hit with many swords. Here lieth you! Soldier boy, I tell him. Here lieth Sister Calmia, died peacefully of old age. Not very funny, Kalmia, so thanks for nothing. Oh god. Ooh, little candle keeper. Welcome to the chapel. Do you have any cess to confess? Goodness, I'll bet you do too, you naughty little candle keeper. Bet you lick the candles, don't you? Bet you like to roll around on the floor. So many sins, so sinful. I think you have some sins to confess to, my guy. Oh, this is so delightful. I mean, a bit strange, a little uncanny, but just delightful all the same. Charming. Charming, I think, is the correct word. Isn't it kind of... Don't you guys think it's kind of weird that we live in a strange floating bridge island complex above the gloom of the place, as it were, we have here at the portal. Oh, I can light these. Okay. Teleported like it's 1993. Oh, I'm over here. I see. We started up there. Went down to the church. I guess next stop is this little mushroom island. Darling little spot, isn't it? Divine, some might say. Oh, I love this. I love this little place. I don't know why this feels like a sort of afterlife thing to me. Is that just me? Probably just me. Hello, Candlekeeper. I'm studying the mushrooms of this island. Would you like to hear my findings? Some of them are taller than others. Some of them are narrow, some are wide. The one kind smells like mothballs and lavender. The other smells like... Oh! Smells like hitting the microphone. Smells like very old dirt. I guess by studying, I just mean looking at it for a very long time. Science isn't exactly sprinting along around here. God, I'm bored. One day I'd like to meet another Candlekeeper and compare notes. Oh, my casopathy is green now. Oh, my vomit is mostly pudding now. Still have interesting. I'll be sure to keep an eye on my stats. See that hut? A witch lived there once. Then witches were outlawed and she was shoved off the island and the hut was boarded up. I bet there's all kinds of witchy things in that hut. Cool knives, talking bugs, potions that make you mega hot, bags full of... I don't know, cats? Oh crap. I kinda wanna be a witch now that I'm thinking of it. I guess I'd better do some praying or something. Ugh, please don't tell anybody. Yeah, I can't go inside. Wouldn't want to get witchy about it, would you? Kind of strange for a place like this to... Oh. Searching the hollow of the tree, you find a small drawstring pouch with several pretty stones inside. Do these all contain something? Searching the hollow of the tree, you find a crumpled black note with Mildred Rocks written in silver gel pen. Aww. You find a very small, finely crafted porcelain statuette of unicorn. Oh, that's a collector's edition now, don't you hear? You find someone's notes regarding the configuration of the castle's various turrets and corresponding astrological signs. Ugh, star girls, am I right? You find a rather large centipede. This one is a lady centipede. You can tell by the little pink bow on its head. Cute! The centipedes aren't cute, I'm sorry. I'll stand by this. You find another much smaller tree. The hollow in that one is too small for your fingers. That's the stones. That's the rocks. You find a very old deck of playing cards with a very attractive Starry Ocean Night theme. Oh, how quaint. We have a little town to go to? Wouldn't mind going there. This place, for all its oddities, is very lovely. Yeah, all things considering. We wouldn't want to keep the candles unlit now, would we? Made of the finest beeswax, you know? Do we even raise bees here? I don't know. What's a bee? Why are we taking their wax? There should be a Jerry Seinfeld movie about this. He'd have some funny things to say. Some damn funny things. Hello? Candlekeeper! Hello! Aren't you sweet, keeping the castle's walkways illuminated? I know you don't have any choice but to do so, but goodness, it's still so nice of you. I was a candlekeeper once myself, you know? Then I was promoted to stationary mask haver, which I've been ever since. It's nice to have a sense of purpose, you know? Why, I'll bet you're just about the best candlekeeper the castle's ever had. So diligent, so driven, so beak-face, adorbs. My castlepathy is crying. And he updates on my stats. Vomit? Hell yeah. I do have... Oh, tallow haver? I'm a candle lighter. I've cloying gloom. Oh, Kitty Horror Show and her vocabulary. I suppose then something might happen if we light up all the candelabras. Hence it was my job. Apparently. You find a keyring with 3 large, old-looking keys. They're unusually warm to the touch. Because of the bloody great fire. You find 9 times bone crystal, 4 times demon juice, and 189 zenny. Welcome to the village, Candlekeeper. I'm afraid there's little and less to do around here, but you are welcome just the same. Once the tavern was an excellent place to gather and make merry. Then the door disappeared. Weird how that can make a place seem less inviting. Have you looked closely at the trees here and on the other islands? You may find things within their hollows. I have been, and it is so delightful. You find a small cloth flower with a clip on the back. You clip it to the edge of your hood, it instantly feels super cute. You find a pot of ink, black but shot through with swirls of glowing pearlescent violet. Enchanted, no doubt. I did find, yeah, okay. Hello? Wish this tavern had a door. I'd do anything for a tall, frothy one right about now. Standing around wiggling my mask and repeating the same 3 lines is thirsty work. Can you even drink with that weird beak thing? What the fuck are you anyway? I'm the candlekeeper. Can I see inside? Nah. I'm just a candlekeeper. You find a micro-civilization of diminutive ant-like creatures living in an arcology of onyx and gold. Oh, I hope they have fun. I will not disturb them. Where did I come from? I did light that up, didn't I? God, I'm such a bad little candle keeper. No, I did. No, I didn't. Did they go out on their own? Oh, whatever. I should get a new tattoo. Maybe of a candle, but like It's just been blown out. Ooh. Meaningful. You know, there's a lot of trees at the church we didn't look at. Dinner is still like a billion hours away. I am so hangry. I want ice cream. That last candle smelled kind of... Ugh. Maybe it's gone bad. This is just like in the dream. One day I'm gonna run out of matches. Ugh, anxiety. I want ice cream. Okay, my castle with the hasn't changed. Let's see. You find an ornate red-handled knife. It's slick with some kind of red fluid and smells like an insect's guts. You find a pair of eyeballs. They stare at you in mute surprise. You find a large mason jar filled with some kind of blackish green-brown fluid. A label on the side reads, Power Scum Energy Drink. Searching the hollow of the tree, you find a small cardboard box filled with live beetles. They're playing some sort of tiny card game. You gently put the box back where you found it. You find a box of handgun ammunition. You leave it there for someone else to find. Oh, how thoughtful. You find an old headband with a fake flower on it. It's kinda pretty, but it's definitely a dress code violation. You put it back. You have a dress code around here? You find a bag of money. Angry at capitalism, you pitch it off the side of the island. Eat shit, money. Some kind of dark, fucked up, like, factory over here. We're near a highway. Look, say what I will about the overpresence of highways, and believe me, I do. I do like the sound of... Okay, never mind. I was going to give an anecdote about my life, but... whatever. Ugly little hamlet, isn't it? The kind of place where everyone knows everything about everyone else's business. Blink and you'll miss it. Of course, there are countless little towns like this, but this one was ours. If I sound sentimental, I'm not. We didn't ask for this town. Nobody ever does. Feel free to go wherever, do whatever. All the doors scabbed over. Nobody's gonna come out and hassle you. I'll give you the tour, if you find anything worth knowing about. This is certainly a car. I'm just gonna follow. I see that giant tower over there, but I'm just gonna vibe with this. Just drive towards the big horrible silhouettes. Ruin. God, our headlights don't go very far, do they? Can I? Oh. That kind of ruins the mystique, doesn't it? I'll set it to here. Yeah, oh, damn, that's nice. People like you and me, we need some place nearby where we can just go sometimes. Some place that's just for us, quiet and alone. Like a clubhouse when you were a kid, kind of. In towns this size, it really gets to be building though. A building though. Usually it's the underside of a bridge or some patch of the railroad or a creek or some shit. Anyway, this was mine. I'm probably still under the snow there sometimes. I went after everyone else got shut up in their houses. Nobody came looking. It's fine though. I didn't come here because I wanted to be found, you know? So don't go digging for me or anything, you creep. Interesting, so we're communing with ghosts, are we? I'm gonna head into the forest. Probably hence the name Ghost Lake, huh? Oh. Okay, little maneuver here. Need to get a little closer. Come on. Come on, car. Are you fucking serious? There we go. You didn't think you were the only one, did you? Well, no, I wouldn't imagine that, no. Oh, that's not a big tower over there. That's a big fucking skeleton. That's water. Over there? It's like there's like a bridge over there. Fuck it, let's try it. Fuck it. I get the sense I'm not really the biggest fan of this place anyway. Oh my god. Well, I guess it's cold outside. It's really easy to spin out. Yeah, I think there's other stuff out here. Yeah, I can see little pixels of green out there. I'll start heading in that direction then. Oh. It's like a little factory. It said the doors were scabbed over, but the windows too? Makes sense. Come on. Nope. Stop. Everybody needs a job, right? And in this town, this is where they are. Worse things you could do than factory production. It was just something to do, really. The things they made didn't go anywhere. Nobody'd order them or anything. Nobody sold them. Nobody bought them. Every week it was different. Sometimes useful, sometimes not. There's a shop in town that's full of nothing but naked dolls with spider faces to this day. That'll be the one you hear all the sounds coming from. Like things are dragging themselves around on the floor or trying to work their fingers onto the doors. Wouldn't hang around that one for very long if I were you. Don't want them getting riled up in there. Wow, Kitty Horror Show really took the idea of a shitty Midwestern factory town and made a whole damn driving game about it. Where's the... Oh, the ruin's behind me, right? Oh, there's a thing all the way over there. No. So tired. Yeah, I don't... You know, there's a whole genre called Midwest emo for a fucking reason. I can't imagine living in shitty abandoned towns like this. Really does well for you. So many places in America just abandoned as soon as everything dried up around it. Ridiculous. So this tunnel's kind of interesting, because it wasn't here to start with. One of the few times the folks from town ever tried to do anything. Started to wonder what was out there and how we'd get to it, so they started trying to dig to it. Never finished though. Every day it was some new bullshit. Night crawlers tunneling up through your feet, or cave-ins, or weird mists that turned you inside out. Eventually people just started getting exhausted and stopped showing up. Went back home, shut their doors, drew the curtains, turned their TVs on, and just fucking gave up. It didn't even go back to the factory, most of them. Pretense was just sort of gone after that, so like why bother? That's around when all the doors scats over. That's a big ass fucking tunnel. And I mean, yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it, but in places like these, I mean, like, just straight up, there comes a point where it's like you feel like you just can't fucking leave them. So, like, why bother? And you just give up. I'm sure a lot of people do that. And that's really fucking sad. Business came along, scooped everything out of this place, milked them dry for everything they're worth, and then just got rid of them. Or just abandoned them. And when you give a people hope and work and life and then just fucking drop them, what the fuck do you expect them to do? Not a whole lot, apparently. Electricity and gasoline and hard light and a cloud of moths that'll starve soon. Mother's milk. This flavor of night is available nowhere else. You could bathe in it. It tastes like oil and sugar and cheap beer and cigarette smoke and the curve of a neck wearing sweat and thinning perfume. It clings to you. You drag it with you on your heels. It hangs off your hair, makes your tongue and fingers feel sticky. Some people don't like that feeling. Never trust those people. Oh boy, this is very, very sad feeling. Shocker, I'm gonna follow this road back. Or just flip a Yui. Flip a bitch, more like. This sign says, "Why are you here?" Can't leave, apparently. And sometimes you just need to take a drive. Not me, though. The idea of driving a car for fun and relaxation and Sunday drives is like psycho shit to me. I can't comprehend it. Give up. Stay here. I don't think I want to. It's not the sign that says give up, stay here on the other side. I mean, if there's a way to get the fuck out of here, then I would. Be me, teenager in Disney Channel movie. Leave us alone. No, I think... You know, I think being stagnant forever is a very... not okay thing for you to do to yourself. Just because things are comfortable doesn't mean things can't change or be different in other ways. If you just live like this, then you're only setting yourself up for failure. Look at all those vats just churning with sweet, delicious chemicals. Before you ask, I have no idea. Nobody knew. Not specifically. It was just everything. The sludge of everything. The ichor and sweat and piss and venom of everything. The everything that seeps into the ground when enough people stay in one place too long. They refine it, or they distill it, or they turn it into Gatorade, who the fuck knows. It was our chief export, strictly speaking, even though we didn't export it anywhere. Nowhere to export it to. Who'd want it? It was us. Even we didn't want us. Yeah, like I said, it's stagnancy. Ooh, that makes it look like a lot closer than it actually is. It's stagnation, stagnancy. You can't... Is that the way to get up there? No, that's like a product line. Let's take a right. More straight ahead, but it was technically a right. And so this... I won't deny the very, like, calming effects of, like, you know, feeling your inertia in a car that is, like, abjectly nice. Can't drive fast enough. I do like the feeling of being, like, pushed back into your seat. It's very easy for me to fall asleep in cars, but... Oh, that one's closer. God damn it. Being the one in control of it? Can't go forward. There we go. The other one would be northeast from there. Oh boy, the suburbs. That's you don't know how much I love suburbia. I always wondered about these little clutches, these huddled little half dozens of houses that always seem to curl around the outside corners of these kinds of towns. Always so quiet and still. Never a light on after 9 p.m. Standing so far apart from everything else. You can never look in the windows because the soft, silky drapes are always drawn. Whatever walks inside these houses stirs dust off the floor, shuffles its feet because its legs are too weak to pick them up very much. When you drive past them at night, you shut your lights off for fear of waking them up. Well, everyone does. Everyone else does. Your lights don't shut off. Follow this road down. Not sure there's always a little contingent. Like it's had a little clutch. Houses like that. Alright, let's head right. Nope, not. Look at me, I got out of a fishtail. Watch me do it again. Oh, sick drift. Get the fuck out of this town. I need to get up to that skeleton. I love that the only indication that these orbs are here is just like little pixels. God, it hurts so bad. Fucking, again, I don't doubt it. Out here. Oh, a church. What does the sign say? They are underneath. I'm sure they are. What's the good word, Father? Wouldn't be a small town without one of these, would it? Or a dozen. What do you figure they get up to in there? This isn't one of the singing kind, I know that much. You walk past these and it makes your skin feel tight. If it had a door, I'd tell you to go put your ear up to it and see what you heard. But there's no need to be subtle, not really. You're not coming out anytime soon. God, just everyone being locked up forever in their scabbed over fucking houses. Ridiculous. It's all they know, I guess. There's another orb all the way over there. I wonder if our ghost friend is going to talk about the town skeleton. I wonder if that has any significance to anything, really. I should shut it off for a bit. The radio. Engines and machinery noises have their own appeal, I think. You get pretty grating after a while, but there she is, all warm and waist deep in her milk and rose petal bath. What does she look like to you? She's different to everyone. To me, she was a nude woman's body with coyote legs and a face split down the middle. Prettiest thing I ever saw. Until her skin started sliding off. Gunked up the lake pretty hard. Tried swimming in it once. That wasn't gonna happen. Can't drive fast enough. Woke up early-ish this morning. I wound up spending 4 hours just laying there, listening to the radio tower down the block droning on about the state of the grid. No flurries today, no mist, no storms, just heat. The kind that makes you feel like you're drinking the air. Leaves a film on your skin like you're some kind of wetland amphibian. When I finally dragged myself out of bed, it was mid-afternoon, and I knew the day was going to be a write-off. Still wanted to go to the store though, because I know how I spiral if I don't exercise at least a little bit. Decided I'd pick up some booze and snacks and have a fuck at night. Give myself a break. A fuck at night. Do chess puzzles and watch some of that CCTV footage Gage sent me from the walled city where the doll makers all live. He says they get real fucked up in there. Weird parties and automaton circuses, blood sports. I'm not usually into reality TV, but I trust Gage to know when I did something. See a silly man in cowboy boots. I see two bears high-fiving straight up. That's some kind of creature with horns and like floppy back ears. Like a goat, but like not a goat. On the way to the store, just on the far side of the overpass, I looked up and saw this shivering black shape about 20 feet up. It looked like a blob of ink hanging in the sky, only it was hard. Like spikes instead of blotches, and it was twitching like it was electrified. I'd never seen an anomaly that pronounced before. I almost pissed myself until I remembered I was an O negative, so I didn't have anything to worry about. Nothing in my blood for the anomalies to latch onto. I feel so bad for AB positive folks. I'd never leave my house. I looked up at some of the buildings on the far side of the street, and in the windows I could see the faces of some people pressed up against the glass. They looked like they were howling, wailing in pain and sadness, trying to push themselves through the glass so they could get at the anomaly hanging 2 stories up in the air. The more windows I looked in, the more people I saw. I wondered what would happen to them if they could have gotten up to the thing and touched it like it seemed they want to. I've heard stories about what happens when you make direct contact with an anomaly, and they're all nightmares. It's always houses with oh. There it is. God, I have to spend apparently 7 days here. Jesus. When I got to the store, the security agent outside wasn't anyone I know. I think he must have been new because you could tell he was taking his job way too seriously. It's just a fucking grocery store, but he's out front checking levels on every single person trying to get in. There was an actual line to get through the door. When it was my turn, I held up my wrist and he leveled me, and I started walking in when he grabs me by the arm. He screams, "I don't fucking think so!" And I remember that they don't just check for blood toxicity anymore. Now they check for anomalous radiation too. I'd gotten too close, even if I hadn't done anything to me. I tried telling him that I was O negative, even though I knew that didn't mean anything. The damage was done. He put his hands on my shoulders and shoved me hard out of line. A couple people gasped. I could feel myself starting to cry instantly, so I pretty much just fled. I fucking hate people sometimes. Not enough to stop someone from doing something they need to do, you have to make sure they feel as pathetic as possible in the process. I feel terrible for thinking this way, but a part of me hopes he's AB positive and touching me made him puke his guts out later on. Okay, I figured out you have to change the date on your computer. Or at least wait until an actual other day. Very interesting. But, man. Didn't make it to the store today. I had to stop at the train crossing because a train had woken up and was having a tantrum. Pretty bad one, too. All of its legs and forelegs were flailing and whipping, and it kept lurching from side to side like it was trying to wrench itself off the tracks, tear the membrane. It kept screaming and screaming, that awful train scream that sounds like the wailing of rusted metal and the angry shrieks of an old woman. The train was long enough that I couldn't have gone around behind it, and the track in front of it was suspended over that step creek that runs along the bike path. The one with like 30-foot sheer walls that's mostly just a bed of trash with a little thin line of running water down the middle. Just had to wait. This seems like a very lovely, lovely fucking place this person lives in. I couldn't go in here. When I showed up, there was only a few responders from the city trying to deal with the thing, but more started coming. They milled around with their needle rods, trying to jab the train's chassis and get it sedated again, but its legs kept whipping and lashing so they couldn't get too close. One of the responders chanced it in a foreleg, shot straight across his neck and decapitated him, and his body fell over and his neck just poured out that gray curdled milk stuff they have for blood. I was at least 30 feet away from the train the whole time, just watching. But I guess that was too close for one responder because he shouted at me to get the fuck back and he shoulder checked me, and I fell on my ass into the mud. I thought about crying, but I didn't end up doing it. I was too tired, in a weird way, and I just sort of felt defeated rather than hurt. One of those fucking figures moments. I sat there like that for 40 minutes watching the responders trying to deal with a train, jabbing it with needles. None of them hassled me after the first one. 2 more got cut in half, and the others just sort of worked around their bodies. It took nearly 20 responders, but finally they got the train doped up enough to put it back to sleep and get it moving again. Then they cleared out and just left the bodies behind like that. More trash for the world pile. I got back up after the train had passed. I could have gone on to the store like that, but I just felt tired and my ass was soaked with mud, so there didn't seem to be much point. I went home and showered, and the crying caught up to me by then. Oh, I'm outside. I woke up today in a good mood. Not sure why, it just kinda happens sometimes. Maybe I go to bed a little early the night before, or I just sleep a little better somehow, and then I wake up feeling actually rested and I get right out of bed instead of laying there awake for 2 hours. I checked the weather and it was toxic flurries, but light enough that my mask would take care of it. I still have plenty of filters left from that bulk sale, back when my friend Alma drove me to the store and I got to use her trunk. Sometimes I think about calling her family and asking how they're doing. She got caught out one night when the city grid went down and a street sweeper chewed her up. Her little brother might remember me, but I didn't really know the rest of her family at all, so usually I end up deciding not to call. Like it'd be more disrespectful than just leaving them alone. That's the excuse I make for myself, at least. I get to explore like the outside. Like a mole? Because I slept well and had energy, I decided to take my scenic route through the outskirts. The one that would take me through that little fake gated community the city built for its anomalous event preparedness testing. I like it because all the houses are still spaced out and empty, and inside them it's all white walls and white floors, so when it flurries like this, it's like this bright, idyllic little suburb on a snow day. No one ever goes there and the city doesn't use it anymore. And the streets are broad, so it feels peaceful and isolated. I probably wouldn't have time to go into any of the houses, but if I packed an extra filter, I knew I could at least walk through it. When I got there, though, it was gone. The whole thing. Sucked down into one of those boreholes that have been appearing outside the city limits. I don't know if borehole is the right word for those things. It probably isn't, but that's what I started calling them. Just a 1/4-mile wide hole in the ground. A perfect cylinder slipped out of the world like a puzzle piece, deeper than sight. The ash flurries blow away from them, like there's some kind of draft you can't feel, and they seem to eat sound. On the far inner wall of it, about 30 feet below the surface, there was an exposed access tunnel that was like looking down the open mouth of an artery in a wall of dark, soft tissue. The lights in the tunnel were still on, but blinking like they'd been damaged. I just stared at it for a while, feeling this shitty, impotent anger at it because I'd never seen that nice prop suburb again. That place had been mine, it felt like, and the hole had taken it away. I had to double back and go the normal route. I almost dropped my new mask filter into the borehole when I switched them out, but I caught myself. Oh, now we're in the access tunnel, I see. I was hungover today, so I ended up staying in bed until almost 6 p.m. Even then I didn't feel 100%, but after walking around the house for a bit, and drinking some water and eating some food, I at least felt capable of standing. Couldn't afford not to get to the store tonight. I put off refilling my hormones for too long and now I was out. I don't know why I do this to myself. I have the money in hand, I can refill them whenever I need, but I always end up putting them off until the very last second. Check the weather and the city grid status. Misting, so I didn't need a mask. but the control grid was down so the street sweepers would be hunting. CitySec was working to address the problem as soon as possible for my continued excellent service, which meant it was probably be down all night. I had to go to the store though, so I had to use the sewers. Oh, fucking hell. Hey, you freaks. What the fuck are you? That's the same thing that was in basements. Isn't it? That same model? I fucking hate going through the sewers. I don't know what it is about the sewers in this town, but it's like everyone down there had something to say to you. People would just walk right up and touch you, put their hand on your arm, shout, "Hey," at you over and over, and even when you've got headphones in, asking your blood type or trying to shove little religious comics into your hand. I've read online that sewers in other cities aren't so bad. It can actually be pretty rad and fun and safe, with cool places to hang out and interesting cultural stuff going on. Not here. A red-faced guy in my past saw me coming and started shouting at me, asking me over and over if I was an O-neg like it was any of his business. I kept my head down and walked past, but I could hear him start to approach me from behind, keeping up with me. I walked faster and heard him start shouting "fuck you" at me. Went back up to street level when I was still 2 blocks away from the store, just because I was scared. The thought of murderous patrolling automatons seemed somehow less threatening than a drunk old man who decided I was a problem. I did see one street sweeper, but it didn't see me. When I got to the store, the security agent outside was that girl who remembers me and always smiles. She had her hood off even though it was misting and her mask was down around her chin, and she was spinning her blood level gun around one finger. She's really pretty, and I can tell she thinks I'm cute, but I'm also positive she just has me clocked as a vaguely femmy dude, because I never present when I go there. So the attention doesn't flatter, just hurts. She didn't bother to check my levels though, just said hey and winked and let me go in. I think I must have looked rattled and she didn't want to hassle me. She knows I'm an O-neg. She is too. I keep thinking one of these days I'll ask her name, but I always talk myself out of it because there's no point. She'd end up asking for mine. Couldn't get my hormones refilled. I'd woken up too late and the sewer trip had taken too long, so the pharmacy was closed when I got there. Bought beer I didn't want just so I wouldn't look like I'd fucked up completely. What the fuck? Oh, those are like grass or fucking bones. No chance of going to the store today. It's root day, so everyone and their fucking grandma is out on the streets, congesting the entire city, digging in the mud for those little clusters of black-pink roots, cramming their mouths full of it, drunk out of their minds on the nectar and publicly banging each other's brains out. I'm thankful at least that I don't have anywhere to be, don't work anywhere that's open, and I made sure to grab all the stuff I need for a few days the last time I went to the store. Still, now that I can't leave, I'm resentful about it. Like I'm being trapped in my own house because of the bullshit celebration of nothing. I probably wouldn't even go anywhere, but just the fact that it's not a choice has my hackles up. Any other day and working up the nerve to get out would be like squeezing blood from a stone. Figures, I guess. My sort of friend Becca called me around 2 in the afternoon. I haven't been talking to her much lately because every time I do, she says something shitty or talks down to me, and I end up getting pissed off about it for days. She did it again this time. "Hey girl," she yelled in her loud, happy day-drunk voice. I could imagine her black hair like fibers of the roots threaded between her grinning teeth. "Where you at?" home. I said, "Are you fucking serious? No, get out here." "I don't want to," I said. "This isn't my day." She must have found a quiet alcove because I actually heard her sigh in that pitying, patronizing, "you poor thing" way. "Babe, I know this stuff is hard for you, I get that, but you can't let that shitty stuff that happens to you rule your life. I promise if you came out, you'd feel better. I'd show you a good time." Jesus fuck, dude. Yeah, exactly what not to fucking say. My god. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. There is no shitty stuff that happened to make me hate Root Day. I just don't like eating this stuff. I don't like what it does to me. And the thought of being out in the sludge and mud and smoke trapped in a seething mass of loud, horny strangers makes me feel sick. But Becca can't reconcile that, so she decided that there must be some kind of trauma there, some shitty stuff that I've gone through to make me afraid of this objectively great, fun thing that I should like because everyone else does. So she treats me like this wounded fawn in need of care and rescue, pities me and waits for the day I'll come out of my shell. I feel less like a friend and more like a pet project, something she can pat herself on the back about. I said have fun and hung up, and at least she had the sense not to call back. I spent the most of the day listening to old transmissions from the Dollmaker City on my headphones to drown out the yelling and the sound of street sweepers fighting the crowds. I didn't get to sleep until 5 a.m. God. Made it to the store early today. I'd woken up a little late, but I was a little more energetic than usual, so I didn't spend as much time laying around as I normally do. There weren't even any flurries today, just mist, so I didn't have to wear my mask. Just had to detox as soon as I got home. I kinda like it when it mists. It probably sucks for people who drive, but since I walk, the low visibility isn't a problem, and it gives everything this quiet, haunted closeness. Everything's dark and wet, and the air tastes like nail polish remover and warm concrete. The store even had everything in stock for once, so I was able to tick everything off my list. I always like how that feels. Oh god. On the way back home, though, I saw something in the middle of the street just a few blocks away from the house. I wasn't sure what I was looking at first. It was like this huge pile of small jagged shapes covered in a coat of squirming black something. A bird fell out of the sky almost next to it, and the pile seemed to explode. The oily black coat bursting into a huge cloud of swarming dots. They were flies, and the thing they'd been covering was a huge pile of bones. It was mostly chicken bones, still with bits of meat and greasy fried stuff on them, but there were other kinds mixed in too. It must have been a full bag that had fallen off the back of an osteo truck and smashed open, and the flies were having a field day. They settled back down in the pile, and now on the bird as well. I had to cross to the street over and cut through some warehouse, which I really prefer to avoid. After I got home and detoxed, I showered and tried to get some work done, but I couldn't. I kept thinking about the bones and the flies. I don't know why. It wasn't anything I hadn't seen before. Maybe it was just that I hadn't seen it in that kind of volume. Like a whole huge pile, a whole swarm like that. I kept thinking about what would have happened if I tried to walk through the swarm, and I imagined flies getting up on my nose and my mouth, my skin just kind of dissolving off my bones while they swarmed around me, their little tin stomachs turning my meat into oil or thermal paste or whatever. I hated thinking about it, but the fact that I wanted to stop just kept it in my head. Finally just gave up on work. I hate that something so small can cost me an entire day. I don't know how I'm going to catch back up, but it's not this easy to fuck up my whole mental state. Very fitting for a last day, I think. Been raining for days and the streets are flooded, so no chance of going to the store today. There are a few things I was looking forward to getting, but nothing urgent, so no huge loss. Rain is unusual. It's always ash flurries and mist lately, but not rain. Now we're suddenly getting tons of it, and it's nice. The streets are pretty when they're flooded. Even the torn up houses all around mine get this kind of wild look to them, like they're part of nature again and not just these splintered eyesores. I crossed the ladder to the flat-roofed church next door and sat up there for a while, drinking beer and watching the storm after the sun went down. The sky was violet and roiling, and when the heat lightning made the clouds flash, you could see the silhouettes of the tower builders milling across the horizon, taller than the trees and buildings, groping at nothing, out of material. Been a while since I felt that nice. One time the wall of the upper level of the church next door got tagged. The one that sort of divides the roof into two tiers. A city responder came out and had to clean it up. I guess all by himself. I went out onto my porch to sweep off some ash when he yelled at me to come over. I just sort of stood there, so he came to the edge of the church roof and yelled at me. "You know anything about this?" he asked in his droning mirror eye mask voice. I shook my head. "Yeah? That's funny. Because I asked some of your neighbors and they said you did it." I said, "I don't have neighbors. My house is the only one in 2 blocks that hasn't been shredded into unlivability by rampaging street sweepers or fly infestations or just eroded by the mist." He didn't like that answer. I think he would have come after me, but I went inside and started blaring an old recording of a number station. They don't like that. It disorients them, I think. Makes them put their hands up to their heads. He didn't finish cleaning the tag. I'm not sure why it is that my house has been spared. I know it's not luck because I don't have much of that. Certainly not enough to keep a house from being ripped apart. I sometimes wonder if it has something to do with being O-Neg. Like maybe the flies can smell it so they stay away. Or something about my blood makes me harder for the street sweepers to see me through the walls when the city set grid goes down. I don't think it's that though. Not really. The fly thing maybe, but not the sweepers. They don't give a shit what flavor your blood is. Sometimes I wonder if it's maybe just the fact that it'd be too easy. If my house were destroyed by some catastrophic bullshit, it would catalyze a lot of sudden changes, for better or worse. Sometimes it feels like change doesn't want to have much to do with me. It sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not. Of course, I'm not eager for my house to get shredded. It's just strange, is all.